I think I'm going to make more of these videos, like news discussion videos going forward. Also to have something to upload in between my like breaks in the schedule. Because like I said, right now I'm working on the Dead Space review. You ask why Dead Space? Because Dead Space is the kind of game it's an evergreen. You can always play it, and it still holds up very well in my opinion. Didn't really need a remake, but I'll talk about it more in the interview. And yeah, let's get into the news I want to discuss. First is this one. More remakes on the way. Yeah. Okay. What a surprise. What is there to say? The industry is creatively bankrupt. Now we're gonna get like remakes of PS2 era games, PS2, Xbox 360, PS3 era games. So like they're remaking all the Resident Evils. They're remaking Dead Space. They're remaking Metal Gear Solid 3. Yeah, you get the gist. Also, they are remaking another Final Fantasy. I don't know which one. I don't care about Final Fantasy, so. But yeah, when it comes to Capcom, though, the problem with them is that they don't seem to be able to make a compelling game that's not a remake. Because Resident Evil 8 wasn't really that good. It's still a decent game overall, but I don't know. As a Resident Evil, it kind of sucks, honestly, because it was all over the place. It was clearly trying to recapture what made Resident Evil 4 good, but it didn't succeed in that. They tried, like with Resident Evil 7, they tried to recapture what made Resident Evil 1 good, but failed. Because as a whole, Resident Evil 1 is still a way better game than Resident Evil 7. As a whole. And the same with Resident Evil like 8. They failed to recapture what made Resident Evil 4 good. And I mean, they probably decided to make a game like Resident Evil 8 Village because they could have easily reused the assets for the Resident Evil 4 remake. So there's that. And yeah, so I mean, more remakes. I think the next one is going to be Resident Evil 5, probably. I don't see them remaking Code Veronica for now. To be honest, both Resident Evil Code Veronica and Resident Evil 5 have some kind of controversial elements. In Code Veronica, there's the Alfred that likes to cross-dress as his sister. And Claire, in the original, Claire called him a cross-dressing freak. Yeah, that's not gonna fly today. And yeah, the Resident Evil 5 doesn't really have anything controversial. The problem is that society is retarded. So you can't have a game where black people are the villains. But they're not really even the villains, though. In Resident Evil 5, Africans are the victims. Because they were exploited by I mean, not Umbrella, by Wesker and Excella. But since society is stupid, you can't have a game where you shoot black people, because some people will freak out. And yeah, if some people were complaining like when the original came out, today it's probably going to be even more controversial. So I don't know. I think they'll remake Resident Evil 5. They'll probably like modify something to make it appear less racist, even though it's not a racist game. Only a retard would say Resident Evil 5 is a racist game. But yeah, I think it's going to be Resident Evil 5. Them remaking Resident Evil 1 again, it's kind of stupid, honestly. Why do they need to remake the same game again, just for the over the shoulder camera? I don't think it's necessary. But to be honest, though, since now they have Wesker's model ready to be reused in all the games he appears in. So technically they will either remake Resident Evil 1, Code Veronica or 5, because Wesker was in all of those games. So in my opinion it's gonna be 5, but I guess we'll see. Depends like money wise, Resident Evil 5 will get them the most money out of the bunch for sure, because at some point Resident Evil 5 was their most sold entry. It's their most popular entry, I think. Not sure what the ranking now is, but Resident Evil 5 up until a few years ago was the Resident Evil that had sold the most. So I think they're gonna go with that one to maximize profits, because before people get bored of remakes. So yeah, that's my take. But yeah, the industry is creatively bankrupt. It's Capcom cannot make a compelling good Resident Evil that's not a remake, and even the remakes are not perfect by any means, mind you. But the new games are kind of very underwhelming. I have no faith in Resident Evil 9. Especially after the DLC for Resident Evil 8, Shadows of Rose. That was pretty shit, honestly. That wasn't even a Resident Evil, in my opinion. It was something else, but not Resident Evil. The DLC, I mean. Resident Evil 8 is it's okay, nothing special. I'll give it a 6 or a 7 top, not more than that. The other news, but also, I mean, let me know what you think if you want. Like, what game are they gonna remake next? The other news is about Sonic. And its disappointing sales according to Sega. Yeah, falls short of Sega sales expectations. The problem with this, I mean, the problem with Sonic in general is two things: the declining in quality, because of course people don't expect most of the time a quality game from Sonic nowadays. There's been too many downs and not enough ups during the last 10 years. So people, don't have like a good expectations when it comes to Sonic. And and also Sonic Superstars, it's not that good of a game. Like, I mean, it's a decent game from what I've seen. I've yet to play it. I'll do it in the future when it drops in price. But yeah, when you release a game that's not that good and you release it for full price, and in the same week of Mario Wonder, I mean, What did they expect? It was obviously not going to sell. Or at least, I don't know what their targets are, honestly. But that was like obvious. The other issue with Sonic is that also Sonic is a mascot platformer. But the problem is that Sega doesn't have a console anymore, so Sonic doesn't really have a place. Because if you look at the sales of the game since when they went multi-platform with Sonic, if you look at the sales after they went multi-platform, it doesn't really improve. So like in my opinion, people were buying Sonic on Sega consoles also because it was their mascot. The Sega fans are really not a thing anymore nowadays. And that loss of diehard fans that are probably now playing on other systems, it did hurt Sonic as well. Because, yeah, look at the sale numbers. This was I think this includes both the Dreamcast and the GameCube release. I don't know. But yeah, with Heroes, that's the first real multi-platform Sonic game. They came out on everything, because Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 only came out on GameCube. Heroes was the first one that came out on everything. So Xbox, PlayStation 2 and GameCube. And it sold more, yes, it sold a little, 1 million more. But then the next game sold, I think this one, Shadow, 2 millions, which is a lot for Shadow. And Sonic 06 sold like 870,000. Okay. And yeah, after that, the multi-platform excuse really didn't hold much, because the numbers really didn't increase. Like with all those people having access to these games, they really didn't sell more. This suggests probably that a lot of the people who did buy Sonic are not buying it anymore, of course, but also that having a bigger pool of potential customers really doesn't do anything for Sonic. Probably because his reputation is already through the ground. But this is just my theory. Like I said, going multi-platform really didn't. It's not like it made him do Sonic 2 numbers or Sonic 3 and Knuckles numbers. It's still making Frontier sold 3 million and a half, but it came out on everything, like Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, PC. And it's not that much, honestly, than Sonic Adventure 2. So yeah, it seems like nowadays Sonic is kind of a niche franchise. In my opinion, because Sega is not a platform anymore, the quality has gone down. And yeah, it's a mascot platformer without a platform. So of course it's going to not sell as it used to. For these two reasons, for the most part. I'm gonna play Sonic Superstars, but $60 is just too much. It should have been $30. But yeah, this is it. This is like the two news I wanted to discuss. Let me know what you think if you want. I'd like to hear your opinion as well on both topics if you want, on both news. Also, I'm gonna be curious to see who they cast as Sheva in the Resident Evil 5 remake. That's going to be funny to see. And also, I don't really like New Jill. I don't know, maybe I'll make a video about it. Yeah, but I really don't like New Jill. It exemplifies what I don't like about modern female characters in video games. But yeah. Yeah, see you next video. And yeah, like I said, the next video probably going to be Dead Space review. Then yeah, I have a couple ideas for new videos, but I'll also upload the Dead Space 2 remake and possibly the Dead Space 2 review. We'll see. But yeah, bye bye.